Okay, welcome to part one. Hopefully you've already watched the intro, so you kind of have an idea of an overview of what we're making. The example to that is on this slideshow as well. Now you have a couple of steps here to get started, and then we will start on activity number one. So you need to open the Canva template link. So when you click on this, your Canva should prompt you to make a copy of this template. So it will pop up as a template. And once it does, it's going to say a template was created with you or for you. You click on that to view it, and then you click on open in editor. As long as you're logged in to Canva, you'll be able to open that up. And I would recommend that you go ahead and give it a name. If you know what your topic is going to be, give it that name now. But if not, you can, name it something in the interim other than copy of template. So let's say for this one, I'm going to make one for my web design. So web design, game breakout. Let's say that's what we're going to do. Okay. Now, we'll worry about like reconfiguring the front page at the end because we might not all want those to be the same. But we are going to work now on puzzle number one. So we're going to scroll down to page 3, and that's the document that has a number 1 on it. Now, you're going to have to do a little bit of research here to come up with what you want for these articles. They don't have to be really news articles. They could just be like about topics. So if I'm doing web design, I might put some topics that I know I cover in my web design class. Words that maybe they don't know very well, that they would have to go do a little bit of research to figure out. Your goal here is going to be creating this sort of thing. So you can see here this little box that I have. It has words in it with blanks, and then there's a triangle under a blank. So you have to give a little bit of thought ahead of time as to, we need to have like a secret word that we're trying to get them to unscramble those triangle letters to solve for. On here I have, I believe, 9 blanks. So I wanted to do a 9-letter word. Now you can do fewer blanks and fewer words if you want to, or you can put more triangles in the same words to get you additional letters. So you have a little bit of critical thinking here because you've got to decide exactly how many letters you want, and then you got to make sure you have words that have those letters. Okay? So I'm going to pause this and come back after I've got mine started and then talk about how we would set up each of these pieces. Okay, I took a few minutes and did some research, and I like to use, I am not in Google Chrome browser right now. I am in Microsoft Edge. And over here, I can click on this little icon to bring up Copilot. It's free. It's an AI tool. So I typed in here, I'm creating a web design themed escape room printable activity for students to complete. And I give you this same prompt in the notes part of your Canva page. So if you come over here where it says notes on your Canva page, you'll see this prompt. So you can copy and paste it. So then I tell it to create some pretend newspaper articles. Now my example when I gave you this business law, those are real articles. But this time I'm just focusing on vocabulary. So I might even would change this heading to be web design vocabulary, just so my kids kind of get that this is all like kind of made up. But it's not made up. It's just examples. Okay. So it gave me some examples, and I wasn't like really above the moon about all of them. But I reworked some of them on here, and you can see it gave me examples. And then I said, okay, but let's do some with vocabulary I know I want them to know. So I gave it a list of words, and it gave me some for those. So that's perfect. I worked those in here. So I wanted one about browsers. And so I kind of came up with my own heading, and I just put Chrome, Safari, Firefox, and then used a portion of this, copied and pasted part of this. So several students reported their online assignments disappearing until it was discovered they were using outdated STARS, the software that lets you explore the web. Keep yours updated. So hopefully they can figure out that that's browsers, or they can search the internet and figure it out, right? And then some other things as well. Now, here's the thing. Once I get down to my last one, if you want to do this number, and you can always delete one of these, you don't have to do this many. Then you've got to figure out, like, I need them to unscramble some letters in these words in order to make a word that has to do with my topic. So a wireframe is something that people sometimes sketch out for web pages. So I thought, okay, I'm going to look at these and see if I can spell wireframe. So there's a W, there's an I. I need to make sure I get at least one from each word, right? There's an E. The only one I can get from this one is an F. There's an A. And then I need an M, and I don't have an M, and then there's a bunch of E's. So I know my next word has to be M. So in my head, I immediately was like, oh, okay, Google Chrome. Google Chrome's like the most popular browser. So I asked it, I said, is Google Chrome the most popular browser? Because I think, and I said, if so, let's do a headline about that. So that's what I'm going to do here on this last one. It says it's not even close. As of April 2025, Google holds a commanding share, making it the undisputed leader. And then it tells me, here's an example of a headline. So I'm just going to say 66% of users can't be wrong. Okay, and then click off of it. I don't want this little store, so I'm going to click it and press delete. I've gone over to Elements and search for, I'm just going to search for www. And then when we get in here, there's graphics. So I'm going to go to see all. And I'm on my personal account, so I don't have access to everything pro on this one. But I'm going to choose this little guy here and then scale it down. I always scale it down off to the side, like over here somewhere, and then pull it in. Okay, perfect. Now over here, I need to use the article. So in a digital landslide, la, 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 I'm just going to take a portion of this and I'm just going to delete this. I'm triple clicking these paragraphs. Delete. You don't want to delete your box, so be careful. And then just a right click paste as plain text in here, and you can resize your box a little bit. Okay, in a digital landscape, Google Chrome, and I need to take that word Chrome out of there, so I'm just going to put some stars in. You don't have to put the exact number of stars. Continues its reign as the world's most used one. I'm not going to say browser again because I don't want to give them the answer. Claiming 62% of global market share, experts say its speed, compatibility, and sleek design make it the go-to choice for students, professionals, and casual surfers. With great power comes great responsibility. I'm just going to put an exclamation mark on it because I didn't want to say Chrome again. And we're good to go. So now I have all of my words, right? I've got, and I'm going to go to my notes because I like to put them all in here. Now I've got Chrome. So I know that I've got all of the letters that I need for this next portion. Okay. So like above the, I know fold is here, and I know that the only letter in this is the F, so I have to use this F. So I have ungrouped these. I just right clicked, or actually there's an icon above them when they're grouped, and I ungrouped it. And then I need to put this here. Roughly, you can kind of use your arrow keys. They don't line up perfectly all the time, but like it's close enough. Okay. And there's an alignment button here. So this is like centered in the box. So if that bothers you, make it left. And then of course, put it nearby where it needs to go. You're just going to take where those are in here. So this one said above the blank. And you're just going to put like that portion in here. Now, to copy this, just click on the text box and press Control D. That duplicates. And then now you've got another box, and then you can do your other one. So this one, the culprit, a cleverly disguised. So I'm just going to put cleverly disguised, and then however many letters this is a hyperlink. So I'm going to just copy and paste these again. So I don't have to type them again. Hyperlin, and I need one more underscore. Okay. All right. And then again, I've got to go through here and figure out which letter I'm going to use. I usually like capitalize the letters. Let me lowercase this C. I like to capitalize the ones that I'm going to use over here so I can keep track of it. So a cleverly disguised hyperlink, whatever letters I'm going to use from hyperlink. There's R in there. That may be about the only one. Well, there's two R's too. So I'm going to use that one from there. So I'm going to say R. And then I know that's the fifth letter. So I'm going to take this little guy, Control D to make a duplicate. It's sometimes easy to click off of it and then click on it. And then you're going to go in and put in the right spot. And a lot of times I'll go ahead and group these just so I don't mess it up. So you're going to hold Shift, click, and hit group. And group. And then you're going to repeat this process until you get all of your little words done here. So I'm going to pause and do that part for mine and then come back and finish. Okay, I'm back. I have gone through and added all the different ones, and I had to ungroup them because I needed to move my triangles around and all that stuff. So they're not grouped right now. Once I've verified them, I'll want to group them. But I'm going to go through first and make sure I used all the letters from wireframe. So above the fold, I know that's an F. Cleverly disguised hyperlink, HYPER, so there's my R. Outdated browser, BRO, so there's a W. S-E-R-S. And then this is responsive design, so that's another E. And then this is I-V-E, so that's an I. And then this is Chrome, C-H-R-O-M-E. And then choose a new fav icon. This is an A. And so I'm going to put that in there and then see if I got, it looks like the right number of letters. So we're just going to make sure it unscrambles properly. So you can go to, I mean, you can obviously do it in your head. You can also go to Unscramble. And if your kids have trouble, they can go there. Unscramble.me, I think. There we go. And you can just type in your letters and hit find. And then immediately it comes up. That's the word it found, wireframe. So we're good. I've tested it. I know it's good. The letters unscramble. And this one's good. And again, double check a few things on yours. You might want to add other icons, replace your pictures, change this heading, change this word. And at the bottom, there's like a URL that's pretend. So I made it webnews.com. But yeah, I mean, that's essentially all you've got here. Now, once you've verified these positions, like I said, I do recommend that you go ahead and group them just so that you don't have issues. If something gets moved around, the letters don't get, or the triangles don't get put in the wrong spot. So again, I'm just holding shift and clicking each piece. Click, hold shift, click, and then group. And that's it. So that does our first one. And again, it says on here, read the paper and do your research online to find the real news hidden behind the stars. So all is well there. This should complete your first puzzle. Now, you are going to want to keep an answer key. So make a copy of this escape room guided answer key. So I like to hit File, make a copy, and then you can put whichever one you're doing, escape room, web design. And then from within here on the first puzzle page, and of course eventually you'll delete all of this stuff that's here on the beginning, but in here you want to keep an answer key as you go so that you have all of your words, right? Because you never know how long it's going to be before you come back in here and do it again, right? So you can delete my examples, and then in here you're going to want to put your words. So again, if you typed them in, you know, over here or whatever, you could certainly just copy and paste so that you have all the words that you need, and then be sure that you have your answer. My answer here is wireframe. And then I like to take a picture of my page. So I just zoom out on here a bit. Let me hit my button here. Zoom out on here a bit, and then I can take a screenshot of that. So my browser bar is in the way here. There we go. So I'm going to zoom out so I can see it all. I use the snipping tool because I'm on Windows, but you can use whatever you want. Snipping tool, hit new, and then just draw you a box. There you go. Hit copy, go to your guided activity, and hit paste. And so now you've got your first one. You're missing headlines, you've tested it, you've got your words, your answer key, you've got your little newspaper, and you should be good to go. And that was puzzle number 1. So join me on the next one.